know when you have toddlers and kids, they do this really fun thing where they just throw your phone just for fun. So this is my front-facing camera. Like, it looks like it has a hazy view because there's cracks all over my screen. Okay, this should be better. I don't even know how it's sitting if I'm in the middle. Oh, sweet Lord. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is just gonna be like a really quick update. There is nothing special. I want to talk about just some quick pregnancy updates that I have. Yes, so the past few weeks, let's say about 2 to 3 weeks, I've had new developments regarding pregnancy. I can't stand for long anymore, and I think I've mentioned this before. I have not been exercising much after the twins because guys, yeah, it's a lot, and yeah, it's just a lot having babies, trying to keep a household afloat, and then trying to add in exercises on top of that. But I do walk a lot. We try to walk every day, and we walk to the mall as well instead of taking a car. We live next door to the mall, so we try to walk there. So I feel like that's part of my exercise. But the past few weeks, I have not been able to stand for long. I can't speak like full sentences without feeling like I need to take a break and breathe. What else has been happening? Oh, like 2 days ago, how many weeks am I now? I am 19 weeks pregnant, but like 2 days ago I had my first hot flash. I had this with my first trimester as well. First trimester. I had this with my first pregnancy with the twins. I had hot flashes. So a few days ago, I was at the mall. I was alone. I was like, yes, no one is crying in the shops, crying to get out of their pram, crying to take everything off the rails. There is no mink telling me that I need to hurry up. So I was taking my time, and I had been craving cinnamon buns. So I went to the mall alone to check a few things, and like as I was about to leave, I was like, oh no, I actually should have checked Pick and Pay if they have cinnamon buns. But a little bit before that, I think at Pep, and like guys, when you're in the store, please, guys, when you're walking, please walk like you're driving. You don't drive in the middle of the road. You don't drive in the middle of the road. You need to stick to one side so that the other side can be for people to pass. So this woman is literally standing in a very awkward place, and it's very hard for me to maneuver around her. So I felt like I had enough space to pass, but I missed a rail. I did not see this rail. I missed it, and I went in hard, guys. Like, it bumped my belly, and oh my word, guys, I was worried. I was like, let me go home immediately because it was so painful. My stomach was like in pain for a good while, like a very long time. And then that's when I was about to leave actually. And then I was like, okay, no, let me go to Pick and Pay quickly. And Pick and Pay just always has these long lines that irritate the out of me. And I was standing in line waiting, and then this hot flash started, and my stomach was still in pain, and it just felt like tense and cramping. And I was like, I still need to walk home. And I'm like, if I call Mick, he's alone with the kids. Like, he can't come out quickly. Like, he'd have to take the twins. I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a mess. I was like, okay, let me just go home. What? So I was like, let me just go home. And I made it. And I told Mick the story, and he was so upset at me. Like, I did it on purpose, of course, because I go running into clothing rails on purpose. Of course, be upset at me. And I sat there for a while, and oh my gosh, guys, it was so painful. Like, it was just tensing up, and I was so worried. And like, for the next day and a half, for the rest of that day and the next day, I was not happy with the baby's movements. Like, they were not as strong, and I was not feeling the movements, and I was so worried. And Mick just kept saying, no, call the gynae. I'm like, I know what Dr. Sante's gonna say, so let me just give it another day. And if it's still something to worry about, I'll definitely like contact him. There were movements, and that's why I was not as worried, but I was just not happy with the movements. So the next day, no, baby was back to normal, movements were normal, they were strong enough, and all that jazz, and everything has been fine since then. It's been a good few days, so I've been feeling a lot better. And other new developments. Well, I've been having, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I've been having sleep issues from first trimester. So I've always had pregnancy insomnia, even with my first pregnancy. So I've had it again this time. Some nights are better than others, to be honest. I have not found a solution, and I don't know. Ooh, excuse me. I honestly do not know what actually triggers them. So I'm just like, whatever, that's fine. If I sleep, I sleep. If I'm awake, I'm awake. But I wake up really, really early, like from 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm usually like very awake, even if my eyes are closed. Like, that's because I'm trying to fall back asleep. But I'm usually like very awake, and I actually think that I should start getting up at that time and showering and all of that, because when the other baby is here, then I'm probably going to need to do all of that. And yeah, pregnancy insomnia, I've mentioned that. Something else is about sleeping. I need to sneeze. Oh, okay. Another thing that has to do with sleeping. So in the second trimester, your body starts releasing more of the relaxing hormone, and yeah, so sleeping might be a little difficult. So I'm going to put it down here because for some reason I can't remember it. Yeah, I get that. It's basically like when I'm sleeping, because I sleep on my side, my hip gets like really numb, like very numb and very painful. And it's so weird because, I mean, if you're numb, you shouldn't feel the pain, right? But yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird pain. I honestly cannot explain it. But yeah, it gets numb and really, really, really painful. And I've known that I need to go to a chiropractor because I've had hip issues after the boys that need to be checked out. So I'm gonna get that checked out. But for now, what I am doing is putting extra pillows in between my legs. So that seems to be helping. But the boys are going through something, and sometimes the only way to get them to sleep is to put them in bed with us. So most nights they end up in our bed, and it's so hard to try and have pillows in between my legs and hold this young person who's trying to sleep and try to also sleep as well with a big belly bump. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna show you guys how my tummy looks now. I am 19 weeks and 3 days. Yeah, 19 weeks and 3 days. And so I also wanted to tell you guys, I don't know if I mentioned anything about my diastasis recti, but I think I have. So I've had that. It was never healed from the twin pregnancy because I've never worked towards trying to heal it. So I think also that has some part to play in my lower back problems, which are very early, and my pelvic issues as well, and the numbness that's been happening because there's not a lot of muscle holding up this belly. Yeah, and I've tried a belly band, and honestly it's so uncomfortable and it just keeps rolling up. I probably need to find something else that's more comfortable. And I'm going off topic. What was I talking about? Yes, my diastasis recti. What was I saying about it? Oh yes, so I'm gonna show you guys my belly. So my belly did this weird thing, like before I even thought I was pregnant. Like my stomach had already, before I knew I was pregnant, my stomach was already big, but I thought that I was bloated and blah blah blah. So after finding out that I was pregnant, it made a lot of sense why. But yes, I did have a lot of bloat in my first trimester, so my stomach was actually quite big. Like I looked a good 4 months pregnant. Yeah, from week 2. So that was happening. So my stomach did this thing where it got really big very quickly in my first trimester, but it was very jiggly and you know, like it was just a very awkward position, to be honest, because it was just very jiggly and it just looked like a makaba. Yeah, so but what has happened over the weeks is that it's starting to fill up and get a lot more harder. So if you see my pictures, or if you've seen my belly, or you've seen me recently, you would actually think that I have not grown at all. But actually, like I grew a little bit. The belly did grow a little bit, but it basically just stayed the same and just filled up, which I am fine with, because I actually thought that by this time, if my belly looked like that then, I thought by now I was gonna look like huge. That's fine, but this is my belly. Yeah, so that's my belly before eating, and obviously after eating it gets so much bigger, like so much bigger. By the end of the day, like I just feel like I have eaten a whole cow, to be honest with you. It gets tough by the end of the day. What else am I forgetting? Pregnancy wise update. I think that's it, hey? In pregnancy reel, I think that should be the update. That's all. And see you again in the next video.